Good morning and welcome to the AIA New York Center for Architecture for today's Buildings of Excellence Award ceremony. Please welcome today's featured speakers. Jesse Lazar, Executive Director of AIA New York City. Doreen Harris, President and CEO of NYSERDA. Ruth Ann Wisnauskas, Commissioner and CEO, New York State Homes and Community Renewal. Grayson Jordan, Principal, Paul A. Castrucci Associates, and Illya Azaroff, FAIA 2025 President-elect, 2026 President, AIA National, Founding Principal, Director of Resilient Design and Regenerative Planning, Plus Lab Architect, PLLC, and Professor, New York City College of Technology.
Well, good morning, and welcome to the Buildings of Excellence Competition Round 5 Awards Ceremony. Thank you all for joining us both in person and virtually this morning. My name is Jesse Lazar, and I'm the Executive Director of the American Institute of Architects, New York chapter, the nation's largest and oldest AIA chapter. With over 150 years of legacy, 168 in fact, AIA currently represents more than 100,000 deeply engaged members nationwide who share a passion for design, a desire to change the world, and a commitment to the highest standards of practice, and in many ways look to projects, designs, and solutions coming out of New York for inspiration on how to meet today's challenges. AIA New York is proud to continue our 5th year of partnership with NYSERDA on the Buildings of Excellence program, which plays a critical role in advancing sustainable design across our state. As an organization committed to shaping a more resilient and equitable built environment, we see these award-winning projects as powerful examples for our members and the broader industry of how thoughtful design can help address both the climate crisis and the urgent need for quality housing. Once again, we are joined by innovative industry leaders who are transforming how we design and experience New York's built environment, and have convened another cohort of visionaries that are transforming multifamily buildings and demonstrating how the latest technologies can improve the quality of life for residents while supporting the transition to a clean energy economy. The awarded projects today will help to lead the way to a zero emissions future, thanks to the commitment of every person both in this room and those joining us virtually today. I'd like to thank all the stakeholders who have partnered with NYSERDA on this effort, including Passive House Accelerator, which is hosting today's live stream, our speakers and guests for joining us to recognize these exceptional projects. Now, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Doreen M. Harris, the President and Chief Executive Officer of NYSERDA. Doreen has held private and public sector leadership roles advancing clean energy projects and engineering companies for more than 20 years. She is leading NYSERDA's role to advance the policy frameworks, clean energy technologies, and solutions to help further New York's clean energy transition. And currently, Doreen is chair of the State Energy Planning Board, charged with developing a comprehensive roadmap to build a clean, resilient, and affordable energy system for all New Yorkers. Ultimately, the final state energy plan will provide a 15-year outlook and focus on strategies to meet future energy needs and advance economy-wide decarbonization while balancing reliability, affordability, environmental and public health impacts, and economic growth. Please welcome Doreen.
Good morning, everyone. It's fantastic to be here to celebrate yet another series of awards under this extraordinary program. So, Jesse, thank you for your leadership and partnership, certainly throughout the many years of this competition, but also to the American Institute of Architects for being a trusted partner on this initiative, really allowing us to build this out over time and to exemplify the innovation that this competition fosters in many respects. Thank you also to Illya Azaroff, the founding principal at Plus Lab Architect, PLLC, for his leadership in design, resiliency, and disaster mitigation and program partnership, many years in the making. I'd also like to acknowledge the incredible team at NYSERDA who is here today, who have brought this event forward in such a successful manner for many years. Certainly our communications, marketing, events, and social media teams, but also the amazing Clean and Resilient Buildings new construction team under the leadership of Suzanne DeRoche and Kristen Graham. You'll see Kristen running around here, I'm sure, very soon for another successful round of this competition. I'd also like to acknowledge my friend and colleague, Ruth Ann Wisnowskis, Commissioner and CEO of New York State Homes and Community Renewal, who has joined us here today. I think this is an extraordinary example of how partnerships can be put to use to make more than the sum of the parts. So you'll hear more from her in just a bit. I also want to recognize a few colleagues who are here today who have really been leading the way over the many years of this competition and its impact. First, I see John Mandyk, the CEO of Urban Green Council. Nice to see you, John. Thanks for being here today. Michael Engui, founder of Passive House, also here today. And Jacob Moore, the Executive Director of the Architectural League of New York. Thank you for your partnership on an ongoing basis. And so really when one thinks about what this competition reflects on, it is the case that NYSERDA, as you may know, is celebrating our 50th anniversary this year. And that's a reason to really look at the ways in which we can have the most significant impact possible. And that is true in this competition. Public-private partnerships are truly the path forward for not only the clean energy progress that we know is possible here in New York, but really how to have what I would say is a force multiplier on the work that we are doing together. And so that is why I was thrilled that Commissioner Wisnowskis was able to join us, because I think it's one of the best examples of the public partnerships and the impacts that we can be having together. But also when one looks at this competition alone, this competition has unlocked $3.5 billion in private investments. And that means that this is a great example of that impact together. So this competition was launched in 2019. It provides financial awards and recognition for the design, construction, and operation of high-performance, clean, and resilient buildings that offer predictable revenue and costs. So over those years, we have awarded a total of 75 state-of-the-art new construction and gut renovation projects through the competition. And as a result, with every round, not only do we increase the cohort of those projects, but we see the bar being raised every year. And that is a great example of how we can be growing this industry together and the state-of-the-art with respect to technology, innovation, and planning. In fact, as a result of this, we are seeing an increased number of Passive House certified buildings and the accelerated adoption of ground source heat pumps. Really examples of what this competition can bring forward. I would say it is also the case that this is a way in which we in New York can demonstrate what is truly possible. New York is a complex place to do work and to do business, but when we think about the ways in which we can realize a cleaner and more resilient future, this example sets the mark not only for the state, but frankly for the nation as well. And in fact, for round 5, which you're going to hear more about today, we have put an increased emphasis not only on building resilience and reliability, but also grid interactive attributes, again, raising the bar with every round. I'm very proud of the fact that with each passing day, more and more of these projects are being completed. So here we are. In fact, I want to highlight a couple of past Buildings of Excellence winners, both upstate and downstate, who have without a doubt exemplified that raising of the bar across our state. So earlier last month, The Rise, a Building of Excellence Round 2 Blue Ribbon for Design Excellence Award winner, had a ribbon cutting ceremony. This is a 72-unit passive house, mixed-use building, providing affordable, efficient, and supportive housing for justice-involved families in Brooklyn. This project employed air source heat pump technologies, solar PV for on-site energy generation, and smart building monitoring. Another great example of how impactful these Buildings of Excellence projects can be is Village Grove from round 1 of this competition. actually this very day celebrating a ribbon cutting in Trumansburg, New York, near Ithaca. This is a 40-unit residential affordable housing building and an early example of how ground source heat pumps can provide comfortable space conditioning for residents throughout the year and reduce peak load to other system types. So what we can know from today is this is an example of how partnerships really help us move the needle. And certainly today, hearing from New York State Homes and Community Renewal, who provided support for both of these projects, will allow you to reflect not only on our state's commitment, but the ways in which we're putting every form of government forward to expand access to safe, affordable housing, all the while designed to meet high performance standards. So we know that improving energy efficiency, resilience, and comfort of our buildings is essential to get from here to there, but also to create healthier living and working environments across our state. And so when we think about how we get from here to there, we always have to remember that buildings are the largest source of greenhouse gas emissions in our state. It is an extraordinary complex challenge, but what you see here today is, in fact, the other side of that coin, the opportunity side. The opportunity to demonstrate, to lead, to scale, and to partner with others to really increase our impact together. So that is why today I am pleased to not only reflect on these awardees, but also to say that we are continuing the charge. And so today I'm excited to announce that we are kicking off round 6 of the Buildings of Excellence competition. $15 million, a big increase, is available to continue to bring design and construction experts to the table to drive statewide change. So when we think about round 6, it's not just an increase in funding, but also an increase in eligible awards up to $1.5 million per award. So year after year, we see technology advance. Year after year, we see these projects come to fruition. And year after year, we see the impact that we are all having together in a much more significant way than we would alone. And so the proof is here in your work today. Please do take advantage of this new round of funding and encourage others to do the same. And with that, I'll conclude my remarks, and it's my pleasure to introduce a trusted partner in our efforts to transform our built environment here in New York and ensure clean, modern, and affordable housing for New Yorkers is available. So please welcome my friend and colleague, New York State Homes and Community Renewal Commissioner and CEO, Ruth Ann Wisnauskas. Commissioner.
Thank you, Doreen, and good morning. I'm really delighted to be here at the Buildings of Excellence event to celebrate all the awardees. I love being with my colleague, Doreen Harris, and we have so many shared goals and have done so much together already, and as events like this now describe, we have much more to do. Congratulations on the continuation and the expansion of the program. This partnership that HCR has with NYSERDA is an incredibly important one for us. We care very much at HCR about the built environment, and we understand that it's a leading contributor to climate change. When Doreen and I first started the work on the Climate Leadership Community Protection Act, transportation and housing were kind of neck and neck, and then eventually, in a race you don't want to win, buildings kind of pulled ahead as a leading contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. So we can't fight the climate crisis without addressing housing. We've made sustainability and resiliency a top priority at HCR, and we've done that through an incredible partnership with NYSERDA to make energy efficiency in our buildings a top priorities. We started in the early 2023 with converting all of our new construction buildings that we financed to all electric, and followed shortly 2 years after with that same mission applied to all of the preservation work that we are doing in New York State. We are doing this under the governor's leadership, and she has been incredibly supportive to HCR in our $25 billion 5-year housing plan. We are going to create and preserve 100,000 units over that time. We just crossed over the 60,000 unit mark as we just finished our 3rd year, and we are committing to doing all of that work in a way that reduces our environmental impact, because doing that is not a luxury, and it's certainly not just for luxury buildings. And I think many of the projects that are awarded today, as well as those that have been awarded in the past, certainly exemplify that pursuit. Our partners, and we are lucky in New York State to have an enormous number of partners who are nonprofits and for-profits building affordable housing, and they are implementing sustainable features in nearly everything that we finance. The awardees today are proof that affordability and sustainability can be done cost competitively as compared to traditional buildings that burn fossil fuels. And looking ahead, we know that that's going to become the norm, and we're delighted to be part of that trend. We partner with NYSERDA on our Clean Energy Initiative. This is a program where we directly finance clean energy projects in affordable housing, and all buildings that participate use zero fossil fuels. That program plus today's awards are really just a couple of the examples of the way that we at HCR are committed to converting our whole portfolio to be sustainable. And we wouldn't be as close to achieving those goals without projects like those that are getting awarded today. So congratulations to everybody getting recognized, and I'll turn it back to you, Jesse. Thanks.
Well, it's now my pleasure to introduce a trusted partner in NYSERDA's efforts to electrify New York City construction, project architect for the city's very first passive house net zero building, and certified passive house consultant, Grayson Jordan, AIA. Please join me in welcoming Grayson Jordan, partner at Paul A. Castrucci Architects.
Great. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Jesse. It's great to be here. As Jesse said, I'm Grayson Jordan. I'm a partner at Paul Castrucci Architects. We're an architecture firm that's committed to high performance, equitable, and sustainable housing. We've been providing deeply energy efficient design for affordable housing and market rate housing for over 30 years. We're doing passive house affordable housing work in all 5 boroughs and beyond. So first, I want to say a big thank you to NYSERDA and the entire Buildings of Excellence team for this great competition and great ceremony. A few quick facts to know about the BOE demonstration competition. So far, they've awarded 75 projects, and that includes 102 buildings, about 9,800 total housing units, of which about 7,000 are low and middle income. And so these numbers tell a powerful story. It's a story of innovation and scale in affordable and market rate housing, and one that I'm particularly proud to be a part of. The BOE program advances individual project innovation. These demonstration project award winners showcased today are the best in the class and most viable project solutions for the problems at hand in the climate. BOE award funding has allowed my firm, PCA, to innovate on multiple projects, including the Bethany Senior Housing, which was a round 2 demonstration project. That was a 60-unit affordable housing project in Brooklyn for seniors. It is New York City's first completed passive house modular building. It got TCO in 2024. And that project really deepened our internal knowledge of high-performance modular construction, a path to fast and cost-effective delivery of a resilient affordable housing. And we've shared that work with designers, developers, and policymakers, and I think that's sparked real momentum for scaling modular innovation. Other award winners are the Beacon, 282-unit, 21-story affordable housing tower in Harlem, with the retrofit of an existing school as a community facility that's currently at 90% CD. One of the challenges it tackles is this using heat pump technology with refrigerant phase out, especially in passive house buildings. So we're proposing the use of air-sealed, high-performance through-wall heat pumps, such as ice air, and navigating the challenges of thermal bridging, air sealing, and the logistics of testing, while eliminating many thousands of linear feet of refrigerant piping in the building. And I think this work is vital for future-proofing high-performance buildings under the new environmental standards. The BOE also deepens our research capacity. That Beacon project also received an Early Design Support Award, and Beacon, Buildings of Excellence Early Design Support Program, that funding really enabled us to explore what I think is a very important issue, which is the high operational cost of electricity in fully electrified buildings. For that project, we tested 10 strategies ranging from passive house to geothermal, solar, time of use rates, and building management systems, analyzing cost, carbon, and energy outcomes. The results of that study now inform a rule of thumb guidance that can be scaled, shared, and refined across the city and state. Just at the very highest level, I'll share some of those results. We found that in the case study, simply switching from gas to electricity resulted in a 20% increase in cost, The good news is that these strategies eliminated that penalty, ranging from, on the low end, about 50% reduction of the penalty to sort of the middle performing outcomes, completely overcoming the penalty, and some of the better performing strategies and combination of strategies actually improving on the cost by another 20%. So BOE has really impacted individual building performance and research, but it's also, I think the bigger impact is on the industry as a whole. It just doesn't help us build individual better buildings, it helps build our collective knowledge. So we're sharing what we know with our clients, our peers, and the industry as a whole. This includes presentations at New York Passive House, Reimagine Buildings Conference, NESE, AIA New York, and Greenbuild, along with open source resources on our website, such as downloadable white papers. And in very exciting news, I think all the work of early design support is going to be published on NYSERDA's website, potentially tomorrow, so look out for that. And we're also constantly learning from the work of our peers. We're going to learn from these great projects here today, but I just want to shout out from earlier rounds some work. Magnuson Architecture and Planning's life cycle analysis work has reshaped how my firm thinks about LCA at both the building and portfolio level. And Curtis and Ginsberg's embodied carbon research offers actionable strategies for up to 30% reductions in embodied carbon without requiring expensive full carbon modeling. These insights and collaborations don't just end in the city. We're actually fostering ongoing collaborations with California affordable housing developer, National Core, where we're talking about building monitoring and carbon trade-offs. And this all started from the Buildings of Excellence program. So just to quickly wrap up, the Buildings of Excellence program, it's making our buildings cleaner, healthier, and more efficient. But those benefits aren't confined to the demonstration projects themselves. We're already seeing these ideas being replicated and shared across the city and state. I think in uncertain times, as public investment comes under pressure, I believe we have the tools, knowledge, and partnership to meet what's next, and programs like Buildings of Excellence are a big reason why. So with that, I want to say thank you to NYSERDA, thank you to my colleagues, and congratulations to all the award winners today on their great projects and who continue to push this work forward. And bring Jesse back up to the stage. Thank you.
Well, we are excited to get into the presentation of our winners, but I first want to also acknowledge and thank Charles Bell for joining us this morning, who is the acting chair of the NYSERDA board. Thank you so much for NYSERDA's ongoing commitment to this program and for growing it. Well, it's now my pleasure to bring us into the next part of this. And to announce this year's winners and tell us more is my friend and colleague, Illya Azaroff, FAIA. Illya is an architect, geographer, professor in practice, and the founding principal of Plus Lab Architect PLLC, whose founding mission is to build resilient capacity and advance goals for a sustainable, regenerative future. He is an internationally recognized leader in disaster mitigation, adaptation, regenerative planning, and design, and has worked in the field for over 30 years. Illya is a technical advisor on the New York State Climate Impact Assessment and is currently serving as the 2025 AIA National President-elect and will assume the role of President of AIA in 2026. Please join me in welcoming Illya to the stage.
Thanks, Jesse. It's great to be here, everyone. I'm just going to try to find my place in here, but, I've got a couple of things to say about this partnership. One, first and foremost, you can't do this alone. Architects are essential to this, but so are forward-thinking organizations such as NYSERDA, professional organizations, colleagues across the entire spectrum. Architects and developers, we are at the forefront of creating buildings that protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public. Our communities must continue to elevate this work, right? We must elevate and share our success stories to inspire others, all of our peers around the world, to take this up. All industry stakeholders like the American Institute of Architects, whether it's here at the local chapter, at our state component with 10,000 architects, along with Passive House Accelerator, to help raise public awareness. of all of these benefits associated with high-performance buildings, architects also drive change. Changes associated with disaster mitigation, resilient adaptation, and regenerative design, all while using an equitable, inclusive, and innovative approach. We need to be the change agents that are out there tackling these complex design issues, making decisions for the next generation, leading transformation for our communities in efforts to create a new future building by building. High-performance buildings ensure longevity and a return on investment for the community's occupants, developers, and buildings themselves. Projects awarded through the Buildings of Excellence competition have proved that clean, resilient, and net zero emission buildings are not only possible, but they are beautiful, they are comfortable, and cost competitive at all scales, small to large. The projects have provided desperately needed high-quality living environments across the entire state of New York that have helped combat the housing crisis that we face. Through my years of involvement here with the Buildings of Excellence competition, I've made a lot of colleagues and friends along the way. I've also learned a great deal. I've seen the program evolve, and the projects awarded continue to set that horizon that we must strive for. We must navigate together. Beyond the current standards, project design teams are utilizing the early design support, as Grayson mentioned. This funding investigates new design elements, systems, and technology, allows firms and teams to conduct in-depth research into third-party standards and embodied carbon. It allows them to complete their projects in a way for additional costing and energy modeling that help them get to the next phase of this competition, to apply for even further funding. Previous awardees are regularly committed to Passive House certification, integrating innovative technologies like ground source heat pumps and incorporating active and passive resilient strategies and measures. This evaluation is a clear indication that New York is leading the way in best-of-class multifamily buildings. Personally, I continue to be hopeful. I continue to be hopeful because I see around the world the issues that we face. These designs today, and the ones that have come before in the Buildings of Excellence Challenge, they really drive us towards the goal of business as usual. These buildings must become the standard, as our minimum standard, ultimately delivering better living conditions across all communities everywhere. Continued collaboration with industry stakeholders such as NYSERDA and HCR and other agencies. Our mission, amplifying clean, resilient buildings of excellence, serving all communities, will continue to create lasting and positive effects. And now I'm going to present the Buildings of Excellence Round 5 awardees. It's a pleasure to do this, and their inspirational projects. I'd like to welcome back to the stage the speakers. If you could all come to the stage, please, while we run through these amazing awards. So the first awardee is 1707 Hurdle Avenue, located in East Aurora in Western New York, which is receiving a Buildings of Excellence Award for $1 million. Strategically located near key Buffalo destinations, this new construction, 6-story, 52 market rate units, modern residential development is designed to benefit both residents as well as the community at large. Designed to meet FAIA's core certification standards, the project incorporates mass timber construction, geothermal space conditioning, as well as rooftop solar photovoltaic panels, all reducing carbon emissions. Additional resilient strategies include an area of refuge for residents and staff, and management of stormwater through the use of green roofs. Here to accept the awards are the developer, Forward Development LLC, represented by Jacob Stiller, and the designer, Line 42 Architecture PLLC, represented by Joshua Best. Congratulations to these teams. Our next awardee is 475 State Street, located in Brooklyn, which is receiving a Buildings of Excellence Award of $700,000. Expected to be the world's tallest FAIA score certified project located on the Alloy Block's western edge, which earned a LEED for Community's gold certification. This new construction, 61-story project, will feature sewer heat recovery, community solar, electrification, smart thermostat controls, and carbon reduction methods. Resilient strategies include stormwater management through planted surfaces, permeable surfaces, green roof, along with a backup generator. And here to accept the awards are the developer, Alloy Development, represented by Jeffrey Sullivan, and accepting on behalf of the design team of Thornton Tomasetti and Alloy Architecture LLP, Prudence Ferreira. Congratulations. The next winning project is 280 East 161st Street, West Tower, located in New York State, in a New York State designated disadvantaged community in the Bronx, which is receiving a $700,000 award. The West Tower Supportive Housing 19-story new construction project will provide 266 units of housing and more than 7,000 square foot health hub to the broader South Bronx community. Designed to FAIA score certification standards, the project will be modeled for all-electric, high-performance, sustainable, affordable housing construction. Resilient strategies also include an area of refuge for residents and staff, and stormwater management through green roofs. And here to accept the awards are the developer, Gilbane Development Company, and Institute for Community Living, represented by Yarajan Robinson, and the designer, Wolfgang Architects, represented by Pablo Choclin. Come on stage. Our next awardee is 77 William Street, located in a New York State designated disadvantaged community in Newburgh in the Middle Hudson Valley, which is receiving a Buildings of Excellence Award for $680,078. This new construction 46-unit, 5-story building will meet the needs of the historically underserved populations in the Newburgh community by providing 100% affordable, supportive housing for formerly homeless people, survivors of domestic violence, and elderly residents. It's designed to the FAIA score certification standard. The project will complement the neighborhood's historic character and serve as an inspiring example of how new construction can be climate-friendly and resilient by using all-electric and energy-efficient systems. Additional resilient strategies include stormwater managed through plant and permeable surfaces throughout the site. Here to accept the awards are the developer, Bronx Pro Group, and Safe Harbors of the Hudson, represented by Lisa Silverstone, and the designer, Curtis and Ginsberg Architects, represented by Brian Tews. Congratulations to these teams. Our next awardee is Building 10 Bio-Based Passive House located in the Bronx, which is receiving a Buildings of Excellence Award for $700,000. This 48 affordable unit project marks the start of Amalgamated Housing Cooperative's bold effort to renew the historic campus to serve the next generation. Building 10 will undergo a deep energy retrofit and sustainability upgrades and has committed to PHI Classic certification, preserving its legacy while creating healthier, more resilient homes for residents and the surrounding neighborhood. Further resilient strategies include stormwater management through planted surfaces throughout the site. Here to accept awards are the developer, Amalgamated Housing Corporation, represented by Ed Yaker, and the designer, ZH Architects, represented by Marianne Hyde. Congratulations to these teams. The next awardee is Chester Agricultural Center Farm Worker Housing, located in a New York State designated disadvantaged community in Chester in the Mid-Hudson Valley, which is receiving a Buildings of Excellence Award of $500,000. This project will feature new construction of 34 seasonal and permanent rental units for farmers and farm laborers across 10 buildings, and include a community education and event space. The development is designed for FAIA Core certification standards to achieve zero energy performance through the adoption of ground and air source heat pumps, shared heat pump water heaters, and roof-mounted solar. Additional resilient strategies include stormwater management through planted and permeable surfaces. Here to accept the awards are developer Chester Agricultural Center Incorporated, represented by Sarah Katz, and the designer WXY Architecture and Urban Design, represented by Claire Weiss. Congratulations to this team. Our next awardee is Casena House, located within a New York State designated disadvantaged community in Flushing, Queens, which is receiving a Buildings of Excellence Award of $1 million. Designed to FAIA Core certification standards, this new construction features 111 affordable units for seniors in 8 stories and utilizes geothermal heating, cooling, and hot water. It also has solar canopy off-site, and the project is intended to be off-site built panelized facade system, and will provide health centers, large outdoor recreation spaces, and resident amenities. Further resilient strategies include an area of refuge for residents and staff, and manages stormwater through planted and permeable surfaces, as well as an emergency generator. Here to accept the awards are the developer, Self-Help Realty Group, represented by Susan Wright, and the designer, Curtis and Ginsberg Architects, represented by Sean Flynn. Congratulations to these teams. These are just getting better and better as we go, right? This is great. Our next awardee is Powerhouse Apartments, located in a New York State designated disadvantaged community in the Bronx, which is receiving a Buildings of Excellence Award of $1 million. Designed to FAIA Core certification standards, this 80 affordable unit multi-generational new construction housing complex features innovative design strategies that will conserve and generate energy throughout its entire life cycle, utilizing ground source heat pumps and on-site solar. It will also provide residents with access to on-site resources. Further resilient strategies include an area of refuge for the residents and staff, as well as stormwater managed through planted and permeable surfaces, including a green roof. Here to accept the awards on behalf of the development team, Lemmel and Wolf Development Company, LLC, Help Development Corp., and True Development New York, LLC, represented by Anavelka Cordova, and the design team, Ettinger Engineers Associates, represented by Ed Ettinger. Congratulations to this team. Our final awardee for this round, as you heard, there's a sixth round that's already launching, so stay tuned for those. But the final awardee is Seneca West 110th Street, located within a New York State designated disadvantaged community in Harlem. It will be receiving a Buildings of Excellence Award of $700,000. This 22-story, 108 affordable unit new construction housing development located on the site of former Lincoln Correctional Facility will be the tallest 100% affordable home ownership project meeting FAIA Score certification in New York City. It also utilizes ground source heat pumps and on-site solar systems. Additional resilient strategies also include an area of refuge for residents and staff and manages stormwater through a green roof system. Here to accept those awards, on behalf of the development team, Infinite Horizons LLC, L&M Development Partners LLC, Urbane Development Group Limited, and Lemoore Development Group LLC is Randall Powell, and the designer, Curtis and Ginsberg Architects, represented by Van Tsao. Congratulations. Great. So if I could have you guys exit the stage, please. And Jesse, if I could bring you to the podium.
Well, thank you and congratulations. Before we close, I just want to speak a bit about the currently open early design support funding opportunity, which was launched with Buildings of Excellence Round 3. Early design support funding provides critical support to the firms advancing multifamily building design to meet or exceed future code requirements, achieve high performance, and maximize occupant health and comfort. By providing direct funding to design firms on a project-by-project basis, the program looks to build the technical capacity of design firms in an effort to implement scale and replicability and reduce soft costs and market barriers that these firms may face. For developers, the program builds confidence in zero emissions projects by lowering the financial risk. The 19 projects awarded funding to date have explored project-specific topics such as passive house design integration, embodied carbon evaluation, third-party certification feasibility, and advanced system analysis, all aimed at building firm expertise and advancing the broader market's ability to deliver exemplary carbon-neutral multifamily buildings at scale. We encourage you to learn more about these funded projects upstairs in the Heinz Gallery on the main level during the reception. And that brings us to the end of our ceremony. Congratulations to all the winners today. It is clear that you and your teams have invested extraordinary thought and resources to create designs that push the boundaries of what is possible for clean and resilient buildings that move the state closer to a clean energy future. New York is at the forefront of building design and development, and I encourage you all here today to continue to pursue innovative and replicable solutions. As Doreen announced, the latest round of the Buildings of Excellence competition funding is now available, and additional details can be found on the NYSERDA website. Thank you again, President Harris, Commissioner Wisnauskas, Illya, Grayson, everyone from Passive House Accelerator, and all the elected officials and attendees, both in person and virtual, for being with us today.